Guys, what's going on, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install HID lights correctly and what do you need for it to work on any German car or any car that has a signal acquisition module. So first, let's go over what a signal acquisition module is. For those of you that don't know from previous videos that I've done, a signal acquisition module is often referred to as SAM. And SAM is a dick robot that goes around looking for trouble. That's his only purpose in life. There's two of them inside a Mercedes-Benz. There's one in the front and one in the rear. The one in the front controls all of the components in the front of the vehicle. So if it detects that there's a bulb error, it will often throw that light saying that your bulb is out. So you need to be careful on the products you buy so that way that the bulb actually functions correctly and that you don't get the error message to pop up on your screen. This is something that a lot of people often skimp around and they don't explain to you correctly, because if you don't purchase the correct parts, it's not going to work. It will seem like it's working. You'll turn on the car and it will run for a few minutes, but then after that it'll just shut your lights off completely because it's not sending the correct voltage back to the SAM unit. So I'm going to show you guys right now what are the components you need and what components do I prefer to use in my vehicles. This is it all laid out for you, clear as day, of how all the connections and what components you'll be needing for your install inside your Mercedes or your Volkswagen or your Porsche or any vehicle that is in particular German or that has a signal acquisition module. First and foremost, we have the Morimoto XB35. This is the 35 watt HID system. You can get the 55 watt, but I have to warn you, the 55 watt is as bright as a baseball stadium light. You will get pulled over if you guys use that system because it's designed for off-road use. It's not intended for on-road use, and you'll be blinding everyone down the road. So after you have your XB35 right here, the next thing that's going to plug into the larger port is going to be the standalone CAN bus system. That's going to go right here. This is what's going to prevent the signal acquisition module from telling you that there is an improper connection or it's going to shut off your lights. This is what's going to do it. Now on this end down here, we have the amp output igniter. It's going right over here, and then this is what's going to provide that high voltage to power up those HID lights. So now they're both going to connect here, and then this is going to go into your cap. You guys are going to have to drill out the back of that cap. I'll show you guys how to drill it out, and then feed these little wires into it. These little wires are going to go to your factory connection, and this wire right here is going to go to your bulb, as you guys can see here inside the picture. Now just remember one thing, make sure your headlights are turned off when you're doing this install. You do not need to unplug the battery. It's totally not needed. Just make sure your headlights are turned off because this is a high voltage system from this point forward, and there's a good chance it will zap you and knock you straight onto your butt. So let's go ahead, now that we got this all laid out and you guys can see all of this, we're gonna open up the hood. We're gonna go into the car, which is right over here, and we're gonna start positioning where all of this is going to be going, because as you guys can see, it's a lot of stuff that needs to go into certain spots, and we need to take the caps off. And the driver's side, of course, like most vehicles, is already over cluttered and not enough space, but we'll find space for everything and everything will go in nice and neat. Let's go ahead and get this going. How I plan on mounting the whole Morimoto system into the vehicle. There are a lot of YouTubers that when they work on Mercedes, they don't show you where to mount it, and then there's also the occasional guy that will tell you, oh hey, underneath the headlight there's a little headlight crash member right over there, you guys could put it there. Okay, I have no problem with that position right there. My only problem with that position is to properly access it, you have to remove your fender well, which means you have to remove your rims. So you have to take all of this off just to be able to get underneath of that area and get into that position. And the second thing about that position is you're mounting everything on there with zip ties. And I'm not a fan of zip ties when it comes to positioning electronics like this that can get hot. So what I plan on doing is something completely different, and I've done it on other vehicles and it's worked out perfectly well. And it's mounting it directly onto the fender well. And I know what you guys are thinking, how are you going to mount it onto the fender well since the tire is right here, and you're going to get the nails coming in and they're going to pierce the tire and they're going to scratch it and all that? Well, there's ways to mount it on here that do not actually penetrate into that area downstairs. And not only that, we could also mount it right here onto this metal plate and then have it coming out like this and just anchor it straight to there, which that's a really good spot, which I may consider. The way that it's going to get affixed to the vehicle, that way it's not wobbling around with zip ties or any of that cheap junk, is to do it correctly. And as you guys can see here, the manufacturer has actually put in positions through to the metal to hold certain nuts into place. So I'm just going to go ahead and drill a hole over here. I'm going to drill a hole over here, and I'm going to go ahead and use a rivet. But more importantly, after I drill that hole, I am going to apply some paint so there is no rust that is going to happen in this area whatsoever. Of course, like I said, you guys have the option of zip tying this thing wherever you guys want. I just find that this is the best location, and it's easily accessible where I can take it off and work on it, and it's not blocking anything. This whole breather valve system actually still opens correctly. This little flap will open up like this, and then this will lift up out of the way, so nothing is blocking on this end. And then of course on the passenger side we have more than ample space to mount it on there. And not only that, we're getting a good solid metal ground point. Not that it matters since the system is internally grounded, but it will be safe from vibrations. There you go. There's one hole right there, and we're just going to go ahead and position the second hole in the other side over there. But to prevent movement while I'm drilling and all of that, I'm going to go ahead and finish this one over here. Just expand it a little bit, that way I can fit my rivet and my paint. And then I'll go ahead and work on the other side so there's no movement while I'm working on this. This is the just with the ballast riveted onto there, and check it out. It is on there rock hard, and if I ever alright, so this is with the ballast on there, and it's mounted with the rivets, and it's very well secured in this position. The best advantage is if I ever needed to replace this in 5 years, I just drill out those rivets and pop new ones in and be on my way. And of course nothing is interfered with the way that it's in there. And then on the other side of the vehicle, it's the same thing. It's on there secure. I don't have to worry about any vibrations. I don't have to worry about any water, any shocks, anything damaging this very nice ballast. And that's why I prefer to mount it up here versus down there into the crash member, because there's not enough space in there. And then you guys are gonna be using zip ties. Really, you're gonna spend this much money into a very nice HID system, and you guys are gonna throw it away with zip ties down there? That's not the way to go. Just do it correctly, get it on there nice and secure. You don't have to worry about, like I said, anything happening to it. And then you have all the cables within access to your low beam, which is gonna be the projector one. So now I'm gonna go ahead, take off the projector cap, which it just unscrews like that. And then it's going to allow me to drill my hole into it. That way I can feed all the Morimoto wires into there and create the weather-tight seal. Because the Mercedes headlights are considered a sealed housing, and that means that it's completely enclosed from the front to side, every which way, to prevent water, dust, and moisture from getting in there. You have to drill into your cap. And these are the caps for the low beams, and there's a few tricks that you're going to need to do. First, you're going to have to cut the sides of it just like that, to get rid of this extra molding. Don't worry, you'll still have plenty of molding along the edges to twist it. We're just going to take off a little bit. And the reason for that is because we need to be able to fit this seal over the entire thing. Now, I understand if you guys don't want to do that, maybe you guys would rather just drill a hole right there and feed all the wires through. You can absolutely do that. But I prefer to use the material that I got. In this case, it's this set from Morimoto. And the way that it's going to go is, this is the inside of your headlights. This is the outside. You can see those are the waterproof seals on the outside. And there's none of that on the inside. So what you're going to need to do is position it. And then it's going to go right in there. So very first thing is I'm going to make a cut using the Dremel tool. I'm going to make a cut right here, a cut right there, get it down to the base. And then what I'll use is actually a stepper bit. I'll flip it around. I'll use a stepper bit, and then I'll go in right in the middle, and I'll get it to the diameter that I need to be able to fit this through right there. So there you have it. That's what it should look like when you're all through. As you guys can see, I tried to mount as much as I could towards one direction. That way I could retain as much of the twist motion as possible. And I feel like I succeeded with that. Now, the next thing that I would do, in my personal recommendation, is apply just a little bit of silicone right along the outer edge. And the reason you want to do that is you just want to make sure you do have that weather-tight seal. Even though this is very well nicely gripped on there, I just want to put a little bit of extra on there just to make sure everything is all nice and tight. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is Morimoto's pure white. It is the whitest white you'll ever see on an HID system. It has no tint to it, no discoloration. It is pure white. I can't emphasize that enough till you guys see it at night. So this is the driver's side, and then this is the before. Look at the difference. This is only a 35 watt system. The 35 watt system is easily putting out at least 3 times the amount of light than the standard system. Now, keep in mind, you guys will have to adjust the angle of your beam. If you leave them right now the way they are, you will be blinding people on the road. So it's really, really important that you guys adjust the angle of your beam and point your bulbs just a little bit downward. I'd probably say just an inch or two. Don't worry, you'll still be getting plenty of light out there on the street for you to see. And I'm not going to show you this side over here, but sure, I'll go ahead and show it to you. It's just a little bit complicated because it's so tight to work over here. But there's the Morimoto, here's the canvas, here is the igniter, and then it's all feeding down into there. And then as you guys can see, it plugged in directly into the HID bulb, or you guys can't see. I know it's going to be very, very difficult. And then the 2 prongs, the orange went on the right and the black went on the left. And I think there's another way I can emphasize that to you guys. Let's see. There's like a little triangle marking on the actual plug itself for the driver's side. The triangle side is going to be your black. Just remember that. And then once all of this is all plugged in and you guys have verified that it all works, now see, look, check this out. Look, it clipped in, it clipped in, it clipped in, it clipped in. I'm not flipping anything upside down, no 180, none of that nonsense where you guys have to worry about hitting a bump in the road and coming disconnected. This is watertight. This is professional equipment. This is not stuff you guys find on Amazon. And if you do find this on Amazon, trust me, stay away from it. It's not real, and Morimoto will not warranty it whatsoever. And oh my god, look at that beam. That beam is seriously pushing out some light. It's not even hot at all. So I'm going to go ahead, close this up, and then I'm going to go over to that side, turn on that spotlight, and then show you guys the detailed plugging in and installing on that end, because there's more space over there for me to do it than this end over here. Alright guys, now this is the perspective view from the passenger side. I'm going to be showing you majority of the install on this side, mainly because there's more space and it allows you guys to see more. And obviously more is better. So the Morimoto system is over there, and the canvas is going to drop down. I'm going to tie it up into this position up there, and then the igniter is going to run across the top side, and then that's what's actually going to be going into this area down there along with the canvas. Let's go ahead and shine that light in there, that way you guys can see what I can see. The first thing you guys can see is you're greeted by the actual bulb housing. Now remember, you're going to be doing this for the projector side, so locate your projector and then it will be on that side as well. The first thing that you want to do before you release the clip is actually unplug it from the housing. That is going to be that black piece. Just go ahead and pull on it. Don't be afraid. Give it a little bit of back and forth rocking motion. It'll come off. And then with it off, you will be able to see the actual bulb plugs. And along with that, you'll be able to see those teeth right there and then that clip. So what you're going to need to do is press it down and towards the bottom of the vehicle, and that should take that clip right off. So there you go. That is what it looks like when the clip is unlatched from the actual headlight. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to push it out of the way like a little door, just like that. And then orientation matters here, so when you pull the bulb out, just remember which way is the single prong pointing, and you'll see that in 2 seconds. As I grab the bulb from the plugs in the back, I pull it straight back, and then you see that single prong right there in the bottom. So the single prong is going to be oriented in the bottom position. So we're going to go ahead, take that bulb, and we're going to put it somewhere where I'm not going to crush it, which is going to be right there. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is get your new HID bulb, and I went with the color 5500, and this is Morimoto's pure white. There is no whiter white than this, I guarantee it. It will look like snow when the vehicle is actually on, and it's actually whiter than this Ryobi light, which is kind of like a bluish tint to it. So let's go ahead, open this up, and then remember the position of where that tooth went. Show this to you guys so you guys don't freak out. Look at the plug connections from the Morimoto versus the factory. The factory has those teeth right there, while the Morimoto has this very, very unique plug. This is actually Morimoto's patent right here, and it's just going to go in the exact same way that bulb went in, but when it plugs in, you're just going to be plugging it in using this over here. And these teeth right here will actually go into the factory location. So let's go ahead, drop this in. Remember, orientation, tooth down, and try your best not to scratch the HID bulb as you're going in, or to touch the actual glass itself. No, it's really, really tough to show you guys. And there you go. That is what it looks like when it is in position and it's good to go. It's in there perfectly well, and now all we have to do is close that little door. So let's go ahead and get that door closed. So now with the door closed, the next thing that you're going to want to do is actually get this whole mess down there. Now remember, we did tuck away the factory plug. And the factory plug, you're going to see on the left side, there's going to be this triangle A looking thing. And then the right side are going to be a bunch of letters and numbers. We're going to go ahead and try to put the black side on the triangle, and then the letters and numbers on the orange side. So here we go. I know this is going to be a very, very tough angle for you guys to see, but let me just get it plugged in and then I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead, drive that in like that, drive this one in just like this, and that's it. That's what I'm talking about. And then this, of course, is just going to plug right into your bulb. Now remember, orientation does matter. The clip actually needs to clip. So we're going to go ahead and just get that in there. And then we're going to press it on. And then just like that, everything is all nice and hooked up. And we can check by plugging in all of our utilities over here. Our canvas is going to plug into this orange one, and then those two little ones are going to plug right into the igniter. So let me go ahead, get all of that plugged in, and then we'll be able to go inside the car and make sure that I have these two colors correct. Mercedes has not changed the color schemes since I last remember, And that just means that we are correct in saying that the triangle on the plug is the ground, and all the letters and numbers is going to be your positive. So now that everything is all nicely in here, the only thing we got to do is just zip tie a few things on, which is just the wires. We just want to zip tie the wires up into place and then just close that door. And now with all this done, I can go ahead and take this thing out at night and then align these lights and point them down in the correct direction. Now the next thing we're going to do is actually turn on the vehicle. I got my headlights turned to on, and then I should be able to not get any warning lights whatsoever. So let me just start backing up the car, that way we guys can see. Alright, no warning lights. Let's go ahead. See what everything looks like. Oh yeah, that is a night and day difference. That looks beautiful in the daytime. Can't wait to see what this thing looks like at night. But as you guys can see, there's no flicker, there's no need to turn anything 180. It's all straightforward plug and play. And the best thing is, this is the whitest white you guys will ever see on an HID system. There is no comparing it to any other HID system in the market. So let me just go ahead, power down the vehicle, and then confirm that there's no check lights. Nope. No check lights, no check lights, no nothing. Everything is working functionally. Let's go ahead and see what this thing looks like at night. Now this is the actual footage taken from my dash cam of the factory incandescent bulbs. As you guys can see, it's a very yellow color, and then you switch over to the Morimoto 35 watt system and it's a clean white color. And it's not being drowned out by the street lamps. This is actually drowning the street lamps out. And you can see that dog. So big plus for the Morimoto system. And as you guys can see, it lights up everything. Now I do have to balance them out a little bit. I can see that my left side is hanging a little bit lower than it should be. So I'm probably going to raise it about 2 more clicks. But this is the overall visual improvement. Now let's go back to the factory. Oh yeah. This is why this car gets in car accidents so much, because these headlights are terrible. And it's not only me that's saying this, it's anybody that has ever owned a W204, including Kelly Blue Book, and other websites will tell you the same. Alright guys, that is the step-forward, step-by-step instructions of how to upgrade your ugly old halogens to nice HIDs. If this video has helped you, definitely give it a thumbs up. It's a way to let me know whether or not I'm doing a good job, or maybe my video sucked and you guys want to give it a thumbs down. I hope that's not the case. But if it has helped you and you guys are interested in joining the community, definitely hit that subscribe button. Even if you guys don't have a Mercedes or you guys don't have a W204, I would love to have you as part of the community, because the community is diverse and we need more diversity inside this place. And with that being said, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Atheist Day, and Happy whatever holiday I missed. Hope you guys enjoy it, and of course I will see you guys next year. Take care, and I will leave you with a video of my lights going for the holidays.
Wanna play with the dreidel, but I don't know if it's a sin, 'cause I'm not even Jewish. Nah, I'll just give it a little spin. I'm in hell, aren't I?